Hi, so this is another comfy video which grew out of the last one really. I made a module to make noised areas on an image, and it threw up other possibilities which I've investigated here. I'm not finished investigating it, but I've tried to form it into a useful and flexible workflow. What it is essentially is making zoned areas of noise and stuff, but the right sort of stuff that the generative AI model finds it easy to turn into other stuff. I know that's a bit complicated, but I hope as I go through it, it'll be understandable. So I worked out that if an area of an image is that goes in to image is noised, and you've seen there's various sorts of noise here, from the very basic to the quite fancy. There's some more up here. So we've got the very standard noises and then some of the more exotic noises there, but they're all essentially the same thing. They're mathematical noises. And what I wanted to do was to have 4 sections. So I wanted a background, which is being done here. This is reverse order. Background, a midground, and a foreground. And finally, the subject. So it goes back to my theatre designing days, where you tended to split things into front of stage, middle of stage, and then backcloth. It's the same thing exactly. And I've done each of the areas, the midground, the foreground, and the subject, in slightly different ways, but they could all be exchanged for each other. So this one could be the foreground and the midground, and so forth. This is just to demonstrate the possibilities for you to make your own decisions as to what works best for you. So I'll start right on the left here. So these are noise generators. One of them makes this quite nice flowery noise, and the other one makes very standard Gaussian noise there. And I'm also using different sorts of noise, which are just images. They're produced by various complex mathematical equations. There's one here, you see, makes this rather funky pattern. And this is noise that very similar to the noise your sampler puts in when it denoises an image. So in the midground here, this is merely a demonstration of how you can make quite a complex, intricate texture by layering them together. So there's all sorts of color corrects, image blends, and so forth. I won't go through them all. It looks complex, but it's not so terribly complex actually. It's just getting the various noise sources from image or from the generators, and then merging them together into a sort of smurgy junk here. But it's smurgy junk that is very easy for the diffusion model to make into anything you prompt. So if you have a smurgy image like this with lots of noise, it can transmute quite easily. So this is our midground, and I'm using that as the base to lay our foreground and our sky background on top of. So we move on to the sky. So our sky is this pinky stuff here, and I'm using a mask. Don't ignore this funky image here, that's not doing anything really. So I'm using this as a mask to lay my pinky noise over my background. So you see there's the background there, which is like just that stuff. Then that stuff has pinky sky type noise laid over the top. And to lay it over the top, I draw in this mask here. I open it in Mask Editor, and I literally draw this shape in. And that makes the mask which puts the sky noise in. And then I do exactly the same thing with the foreground stuff. Here's what I'm using for the foreground stuff, which is just simply an image. This over here was noise from this noise generator here. But this one here is just an image. You could use just images for all of these. You could just duplicate this module 4 times and use images. It wouldn't make any difference. I'm showing the different ways of making the images just for demonstration, really. So that's our foreground, midground and background. And when it's all put together, it looks like this, which is a very funky, strange mix. But you can sort of vaguely see there's stuff in the foreground, there's trees and there's sky. And that's all I want from it, really. The next stage is I've actually added a colour to give the whole lot of mood. So you see this is all from different worlds there, but that I've given it a mood there that gives a bit of colour harmony to it. I've then resized it to be the proportion of my final picture, and you see it behind my lady there. And then I've just brought in a PNG on a transparency, and I've just overlaid it over the top. So she was prompted for separately. You can use a photograph there, but you need to cut it out or mask it out. You can load an ordinary image and then open it in a mask editor. That will work absolutely fine. And then the composite mask node moves the figure around so we can put her anywhere we fancy. Then here, I'm really not going to go into this. This is just image to image. There's nothing unusual about it at all. Quite a high denoise because you can see there's quite a bit of work to do to make her into a forest. But the type of stuff in here in the background is very mutable. So it's random enough that almost anything can be picked out of it by just prompting. And this is the result. You can see how, I'll bring it across, get that out of the way. So you can sort of see how the composition has been influenced by it. And it has not really changed the photographic generated image very much, but it's changed all this area a great deal. And this is because of the noising. It's because of this dotty and random noising stuff in here. So when I'm prompting, I prompt pretty much the girl. I've prompted her pretty much as she appears in this image. So that means when it goes through the model, it looks at all of that and everything fits in with the prompt. So it won't change it because it already fits the prompt. However, these areas do not exactly fit the prompt. So the result is it will change these areas a great deal and it'll change these areas hardly at all. Did I prompt for black hair? I can't remember now. I did. I prompted for black hair. There you go. I was wondering why she'd had a hair dye job, but that was why. But the rest of it, in general terms, pose, look, everything else, she's a bit improved actually, which is rather nice. So I'll go through and make this image into something else now, and that should help clarify what the process is and why it works as it works. So we'll start again from scratch and we'll make a new image in the next section. So here we are, and we're going to get rid of the old and bring in the new. I make the render module here, the process, and I set the groups to never. You can see here. I can set it to always, set it to never. So this won't operate now. And that means I can mess about with this lot and everything will happen very quickly. So what we'll do first of all is mess about with our background, which is this stuff here. So we'll start with the midground, sorry, got that wrong. Midground. So we're going to make a midground texture. I'm not sure what we'll do. Shall we make it cooler? Now this all works very quickly. You see like that? We'll put a different image in here. That's a funky one. Oh, that does your eyes in. So there you see it mixed in. So it is as simple as that. And you can see they're mixed over into rows. I could put any of these into the mix, but that's quite interesting. And this is the mid-ground, and I think I still want it a bit warmer than that. So we'll go up on the warmth a bit. That's a bit warmer. We'll change the hue a little bit. Not that way, the other way. I don't understand these colour. I can never remember which way. That's warmer. That's what we want. And we're going to go from countryside to city, I think, here. So I think that's quite a nice big change. I think we'll keep the same lady and put the poor girl into a city. So that's my city. So next, I've done my. That probably has to be a little bit darker, actually. Looking at this here. So we go down to the brightness, up on the gamma. No, that's too much. But you see what I mean. It's very quick. This stuff produces new imagery in a matter of moments. Now, obviously, all of these masks are going to be changed. So the first mask to change, I think, is the sky and mid-ground one. So we've got the sky, our mid-ground one here, which decides the sky. So we'll open this in Mask Editor. There we go. And we want some, we'll clear this. Open the wrong one. So we'll open this in Mask Editor. And we'll clear away all of the, now everywhere I paint will be sky. So this is sky I'm painting in. So the end of the street will be there. More buildings. More buildings. That'll do. So what I've done there is paint in the areas that'll be sky. There's no point in being very fancy with it because it really won't matter. So we save that to the node and run it. And there you see the silhouette of our eventual buildings. The next thing I want to do I leave my sky the same? I should change my sky as well, shall I? So we go lavender. Ooh, I like that. We'll go lavender. Not quite as strong as that one. There we go. We might have an evening scene here. You never know. So the next thing to do is our foreground. And we need a texture for our foreground. So we'll do the same thing. We've got this noise file. I'll go for a different noise file just for fun. Oh, that's a funky one as well. Whoa. Okay, we're going to be really funky here. And I'm going to take down the brightness. This is going to be street. And I think that will probably do. So let's draw our street in. I can sort of see how the street's going to go. It's not very far out actually already. I just want to change this a little bit. So I'll open this in Mask Editor. And this is the same thing exactly. What I'm painting in is street. So I'll make that, give that a bit of perspective down the street. Maybe there's a bit of light going in there. So there's a bit of perspective down the street. It'll probably ignore that, but never mind. Okay, so I need to snip this bit off here. So there's our background. This is going to be buildings. This is going to be road. This is going to be sky. So I know it looks really unpromising, doesn't it? So now we've got to bring our lady back, run that. You see how quick it is. So there's our lady in the street. I suppose we want to move her a bit more into the middle. And you can do that very simply, as you see. I think she's about on the third there, which is always nice. And that is literally it. This is the image we're going to put in to our image to image. And it looks really unlikely, I know, but you see what happens. So the next thing, set these to always. Now we want to make a prompt that's appropriate to our new image. So we'll say tough girl, black hair, smile. Shall we give her a black leather cape? I bet it won't do that. shirt, eye colour. Otherwise it'll be boobs everywhere. Okay, standing is fine, and alone is fine. I don't want pedestrians and stuff. The rest of the, are we still winter? Yeah, we can be winter. Complex and intricate and shadows. Yeah, I like all that. But I think we'll be city street. We'll be post-apocalyptic. I don't know why I do apocalyptic because it's so hard to spell. Post-apocalyptic. We probably don't need to say a great deal more of that, really. Oh, I certainly, my usual tactic is to generate with a very simple prompt. And let's put pedestrians in the negative. My usual tactic is to put as little as I can, and then I'll add words to try and push it in the direction I want. So there we have it. We're ready to generate. Just because I'm making a video, the result will be horrible, I'm sure. But never mind. Okay, so we'll cue the prompt. And there she is, in a different world and a different girl. But not, I'll have you notice, the girl is not as different as the world is. You may think that processed really quickly, but I'm afraid it didn't. I speeded it up in Final Cut Pro just to make you jealous and make you think I had a 4090 and a PC the size of a trunk. But I don't. I have a Mac Mini M2, which is just so uncool. But there you go. It does it fine. So I hope that raises some possibilities for you to play with. I shall put the workflow below. You can go and find noise images. Just Google for noise images and you'll find all sorts of funky stuff like this. And it makes quite a difference to have the random stuff in. The funkiness doesn't really matter. You could do it all with the same one. I was just having fun with it, really. But you can see how, I should run quickly back, this foreground has decided the shadowing. Do you see the shadowing across the road? Which makes a very nice composition. So that has been decided by this layer here, by this unlikely layer of stuff there has decided. And if you look, the general form of the images is exactly the same as a very, very rough noised image here. So there it is. It goes from that to that. Okay. Enjoy the workflow. I hope you know, some people have problems when they download workflows. If you come up with missing nodes, which you might do, I don't use many very obscure nodes, but then you need to go into ComfyUi, go into Manager, and there's a tab there that says install missing nodes. And if you install the missing nodes, you'll be fine and dandy. The LoRa I'm using is Eldritch Digital Art 1.3, one of Adam's LoRa's, which you'll find on CivitAI, which I have to recommend. He makes fantastic LoRa's. I think they're you get LoRa's, you know, to make ballet dancing sheep and rather revolting ponies that indulge in strange activities, but his LoRa is one that is multi-purpose and improves more or less any image you put it on. You see the levels are quite low, but it adds class and style to any image you put it on. The checkpoint is Dreamshipper Turbo version 2, which is pretty standard. Okay, thanks for your attention, and I hope you enjoy using the workflow. Thank you very much.